Big welcome everybody to our live class. So as usual, we want to know who's watching, where are you watching in from, and listen, you better tell us what's the weather like. Typical normal weather here in Dublin, grey skies and nothing happening. So if anybody is having a little bit of sunshine in another part of the world, comment underneath and make us mad jealous. So what's happening? So I want to do something kind of autumnal with you, and we got these amazing gourds. I got them in from O'Neill's Flowers up in Carlingford. So if anybody is watching, if you can tag O'Neill's Flowers for me, and they're only €1 each. So you get a box of 10 gourds, but they're all different sizes. Now we always kind of think that this one of them big ones must have given birth to this little baby one on the way. Do you know that way? But you get 10 gourds in the box. So the average €1 each. We weren't charged for that small one. I'd say that was a little premature one just stuck in the box. So you kind of get a mixture, different sizes, shapes and colours, €10, and it's £9.50 or £9.90 for the delivery. So even though the delivery sounds expensive, for €20 you're getting 10 gourds, which is €2 each, and you're getting them delivered to your door. So go onto their website, www.o'neillsflowers.ie, or again just go direct to their Facebook or their Instagram page and contact them directly. Now I'm using a mixture of flowers as I kind of go along here. It's kind of one of these designs, as I do often say to the students, we'll make it up as we go along and we'll see what's happening. So I'm using some selections of eucalyptus. And the eucalyptus that I'm using today is from Irish Green Guys down in Kerry. So again, if anybody is watching, can they tag there for me? Celine and Sinead are great for doing this. The @ Irish Green Guys. So Irish Green Guys is a foliage farm in Kerry. They do supply flower shops and wholesalers, and they even supply Holland like it's mad, you know that way. And they have a depot in the UK, because I know we have lots of UK viewers here. And you can buy, like, now obviously wholesale, you can buy bunches of foliage from them. So they have lots of different varieties of eucalyptus. The best thing to do is go onto their website and have a look. But I'm also going to include a little bit of this foliage here, which I call bottle brush. Bottle brush is not the right name for it. So if somebody is watching, Sinead's a horticulturist, I can never remember the right name. It's a big Latin name anyway. So if you tag it, but we call it bottle brush because when I had babies, we used to have to wash the bottles out with a brush, and it looked like that sort of shape, okay? That's probably not a great description. But the bottle brush, I bought that in from Wicklow Foliage Farm. They're based in Wicklow, obviously. And again, it's a wholesaler supplier. They supply flower shops and wholesalers, or anybody that wants large quantities. So the best thing to do is, if somebody can tag them, Celine or Sinead, do the @ Wicklow Foliage Farm, okay? You'll find them on Instagram and on Facebook, and contact them direct. The lovely fella that's working there is Stuart, and his beautiful wife called Ursula. And if you're onto the Irish Green Guys, it's the handsome James. And I actually don't know what his wife's name is. I haven't met her yet, but I'm sure she's absolutely beautiful. But another foliage that I'm going to use, I let one of them fall on the ground there, is called the Euphorbium, or flax leaves. Or I think some people call it New Zealand flax. And again, any of our horticulturists, specialists and experts, feel free to put all the proper names all in the comments there for me. So I'm just going to use a couple of these for height as well. So container wise, this is a container that I happen to have here in the school. It's like a little crate. And if you are kind of like going around your vegetable shops, supermarkets and so on, it's something that they may have got some of their deliveries in, and you may be able to get them for free. But I have seen these for sale. They do have them in the flower wholesalers. I have seen flower shops selling them, but I've also seen them in the charity shops, okay? Now I know some of my students that have their own flower shops, they buy in the crates and they actually get the name of their flower shop kind of printed on the top of them. This one says something, Old Town Market, 1925. I'd say it's just kind of a made up version. Now because the box itself wasn't plastic lined, you can see there I've just lined it in 2 layers of cellophane. 1 layer of cellophane is not enough, so I've used 2 layers of cellophane. And I've 2 blocks of foam here soaked already. So I'm going to place 1 block of foam, and it's purposely going to be over to one side, okay? And I'm placing it on its side. But the other block of foam I'm placing kind of on the flat, okay? And that way then they will wedge in there kind of quite tight, and one is going to be a little bit lower than the other. Sorry for the crinkly noise. And I'm just pushing the cellophane down, and I've a little bit, just to let you see it there. So there's our taller one at the back, but I don't have anything coming out over the edge of it, and then our lower one in the front. And I have a little bit of a space here, So I just have another little bit of foam, and I'm just going to wedge it in, and this is just to stop things shifting around and moving. And I still have a little bit of a gap, but I don't want to put floral foam in there. When I got the gourds delivered, and yours will be the same, you'll get a little bit of hay in the box, okay? So just over to the side here, I'm going to wedge that in tight there with the hay, or straw. Is it straw or hay? Sorry, I'm always getting them mixed up.
Straw.
Hay is dried grass. Straw, okay? Probably all the cultures are there correcting me, okay? Sorry about that, I'm always getting the wrong name. So I've just wedged a little bit of straw over to one side of the box, and I just kind of think for autumn, this is going to work well for me. And my plan is to display my gourds, you see, on the straw, but I'll wait till I have the arrangement actually in. So I'm going to start off with a little bit of foliage. So I'll start with maybe the euphorbium. So I want to show you a few little tricks with this, right? So I've just let one fall on the ground, so sorry a second, I just pick it up. Here we go. Grand. Right, 3 of them. Now you can go out to your own garden and you can get some of these. So at the end, I'm going to cut this into a point to the height that I want, because they're quite wide and kind of like quite sharp. So by cutting it into a triangle, it just means, and it's a bit crooked this one, but it's grand, you know that way. Like remember when you're working with flowers, it's all about natural. So like it's different if it's artificial or dried flowers, and we could make it go the way we want, or we could maneuver it, or they've come off a machine and they're all exactly the same. But when you're dealing with fresh flowers, you know that way, basically it's potluck what way they're going to go. So this one here, I'm just going to cut it a little bit shorter. So I'm going to do the same idea. Cut it in a kind of a slant, like this, and just bring it forward a little bit on the floral foam, and just bring it down that little bit lower, okay? The other one that I have, that's the magic bin, by the way. I'm always getting slagged about throwing stuff on the floor, but I do clean up after myself. Now again, we'd love if you interact kind of with us here today, and we'd love if you comment below. And we'd even love even more if you could share this video. And you never know, we often have giveaways. Do you know the way Deirdre could be feeling very generous and she could decide to maybe give a little giveaway. So if you share this video, put in the comments below that you have shared it, okay? And normally what happens then is when Deirdre sees the names and she said, "God, that one's shared all the time," she might give you a little freebie. So with this euphorbium, I'm just kind of, as you can see there, just split it in half. Like it just splits real easy. And I have a stapler. And what I'm going to do with the stapler, okay, is I'm going to roll around the top of the euphorbium leaf. See, like so. And then using the stapler, I'm just going to put 2 staples in it to secure it. And if you want to go again, you can bend that back that direction. Do you see the way? But just this one's not going to be long enough to do it. So I'm just going to go for the 1 loop. And I'm going to do the same with this one. So I'm just rolling it over. Like you're putting rollers in your hair, or you're putting the GHD, the curling tongs, you know that way. Kind of a similar idea, only that we use a stapler to hold the curling tongs here. So 2 staples in that, and you see the way I've just got 2 little loops, okay? Now both at the end here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just making one a little bit longer than the other, and I'm going to cut it into that triangle point that I showed you there earlier on. And that way then, it's not going to stab the oasis. You know that way, it'll just kind of glide into the oasis and it'll be nice and secure. So just out to one side of the arrangement, I'm just going to bring our loop out, and then our shorter ones, you know the way, I'm just going to step it down, and I'm going to turn this around just that you get an idea. Now you can have 3, 4 or 5 of them. I only had 3 euphorbium leaves, you know that way, so I'm just making do with what I have. So that's the great thing about this design that I'm doing here today, is you don't need a particular number. And like some of you are probably watching and you don't have these crates, or you don't know where to get them. But what about even a spray tray or a bulb bowl, okay? Again, Google them. So the bulb, it's bulb, B-U-L-B. A bulb bowl, it's a nice big wide bowl, and you can put your floral foam into it. And yeah, it's not going to be as nice a container, but it'll do the job. Or a spray tray, it's the width of a block of floral foam, but you can get a double spray tray that would hold 2 blocks of foam, or a triple spray tray that holds 3 blocks of foam. Do you know what I mean? So there's loads of other containers out there. And again, let's interact here. So any of you that are watching, you know what I mean, you're probably saying to yourself, well, what about such a thing? So put your suggestions in the comments. Let's join in. Let's help everybody. Let's get involved. So I'm just going to use a little bit of this bottle brush kind of coming up in between our euphorbium, just to give us, again, an extra bit of height, okay? And then kind of like stepping down a little bit, down onto my lower block of oasis. I'm going to bring another one. and I just kind of feel, you know what I mean, I'm keeping this very casual. It's not kind of a typical commercial arrangement, because as I said, I want to include the gourds in it. But this will be brilliant for Halloween, so we're thinking Halloween here at the moment. This will be brilliant for Halloween for having on your hall table. And if you haven't got the gourds, you could just put a couple of apples and mandarin oranges, and we call them monkey nuts. What do you call them? Comment underneath. And so when we're talking about Halloween, has anybody out there got any mad traditional ideas that you did for Halloween? Do you know that way? I know nowadays it's all kind of very commercial, and they buy all the little dressing up outfits for the kids, which is brilliant and it's gorgeous. But I know, like, when we were kids, we used to have to dress up in our mammy's clothes, and we used to dress up as being a mammy. And I think tying a scarf on your hair, a bit of red lipstick, and a pair of high heels, we thought we were the bee's knees. Hilda Ogden. Put a few rollers in the front. If you're not old enough, you won't remember Hilda Ogden from Carnation Street, as she always had the scarf on her head with a couple of rollers in the front. So that was Halloween to us, was dressing up. And if you were probably from a rich family, you may have even got a plastic black sack to dress up in. My mother couldn't afford a black sack. We used to just have a bin. I'm going to add a little bit of eucalyptus into this design as well. Sorry, I'll turn it around to you there. If I forget to turn it around, just remind me there in the camera. Deirdre can just call out to me. But another thing, like for Halloween for us, we used to always get called cannon for our dinner, or curly kale, you know what I mean? So Mum always made curly kale for the dinner. So basically it was curly kale. It was like this green vegetable, which I think nowadays when people are looking after their health and want to eat healthy, kale is the big thing. Well, like years ago, it was a great way of getting vegetables into kids. So a big pot of mashed potatoes. If you're Irish, you know we love our mashed potatoes. Chopped up onion, you know that way, and loads and loads of melted butter. And the whole thing was chopped up together, you know, in the pot. The kale was cooked, mixed in with the mashed potatoes. Throw in, I think they were raw onions as far as I know. They probably cooked in the mashed potato. And a big blob of butter. And sure, we thought it was the absolute business. But the great tradition in our house was the fairies, okay? So the little people, the magic people, the leprechauns, they put money in your dinner, you know, that way for Halloween. Again, if anybody has any mad stories, like, you know what I mean, put them in the comments there, you know that way. There could be a prize for the maddest story out there. So when we were kids, we'd be going around with the fork through the dinner, because we wouldn't want to eat the kale or the raw onion, you know that way. And we'd be feeling around to find the money. So where the fairies would have wrapped up, now it may have only be a 10 bob, as we used to call it, or a fish bob, a 10 pence piece, you know that way. Nowadays it's probably a euro or 2 euro coins, 2 shillings. We're really being old fashioned here, aren't we? And letting out our age or whatever. And I mean, again, my mum didn't wrap it in tin foil, but probably the posh mothers, for a hygienic point of view, probably wrapped it in tin foil. My mum probably just washed it, stuck it in with the mashed potatoes, and we didn't care. All we wanted to do was get to the shops and spend the fairy money, as we called it. So as you can see there, I'm just kind of filling in with a little bit of eucalyptus, you see, to one side, a little bit of bottle brush, you know the way, just kind of keeping it light and kind of casual. You
Annabelle is saying here, Janette, nowadays the kids go knocking at the door, it's trick or treat, but she says when she was going around it was help the Halloween party.
We used to say that as well, yeah, help the Halloween party was always what we said.
And we'd go home afterwards and we'd have a party.
You'd be up all night eating the shite, you know what I mean, that you got. And like if a house, like there was always a woman, the poor woman is dead now, but Lily, do you remember Lily Roach? Lily, she was the only one on the road that gave you sweets, you know that way. Everybody else gave you an apple and peanuts and a few grapes, and the grapes would be battered in the end of the bag. But we still thought this was great because we never got grapes in our house, you know that way. I'm sounding like, what's that film?
Angela's Ashes.
Angela's Ashes, exactly. You know what I mean? It wasn't that bad, you know what I mean? But it's just how different it is to kind of like nowadays.
Do you remember Lily? She used to do the chocolate apples, but she'd only have one, and that's where we would have to do a trick or a treat.
Exactly.
To win the apple.
And the apple would be hanging on a string, and you'd lose your teeth, and you'd have to try and bite the apple, or the apple would be in the end of the basin of water, and you'd have all your ma's makeup on your face, and you'd be putting your face down into the basin of water, and sure. And you'd have to makeup on your face for 3 days because there was no such thing as makeup remover and so on. Anyway, back to our flower arrangement. Aren't they amazing? So these are freesias. And a lot of people probably associate freesias with weddings and kind of like whites and pastels and so on. But this is this beautiful kind of like orange, kind of rusty, definitely autumnal colour. It's beautiful. And when we're treating freesia, we clean all the stems down. So talking about treating flowers, has most of you at this stage downloaded our online program. So this is where we have a free conditioning program where you learn how to condition 60 different varieties of flowers and foliage. If you haven't, it's completely free. Just in the comments there, just say you'd love the link for the free course, okay? And Sinead will put the link underneath. You just click on it and you're straight into it, and it'll keep you going for months and months and months. But talking about free links, okay? It is autumn. And for the month of October, we always do a fundraiser. So most of you probably know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And there is a charity very close to our heart, which is called Look Good Feel Better. They don't get any government funding, they depend on fundraising. But they offer free makeup classes and skincare classes. So basically, they look after people, mostly women, I suppose. You know what I mean? But I'm sure men can take part as well. So they look after women going through cancer, going through chemotherapy, whatever, and showing them how they can look after themselves, maybe make the best of themselves and make themselves feel a little bit better. So whether it's, excuse me, wigs or false eyelashes or false eyebrows or how to apply makeup or what skincare products are probably better when you're going through different sorts of treatments, they have all the experts. And the amazing thing, this is completely free. And even for people who can't maybe attend their free workshops, which by the way are all over 32 counties in Ireland, but also it's worldwide, okay? But for the moment we're only going to be talking about the Irish one, okay? So just any of our UK followers, just stick with me for a few minutes. So you can make a donation to them, and I'm going to put the link in the comments just above this live class, and I'm also going to get Sinead to put it in the comments just below, right? And maybe some people might copy the link for me and put it in the comments. The reason being, some people can't find it, so the more times it's posted in the comments there, the easier it is for people to find it. Now, I have a great giveaway. If you would like to get a free autumnal course with 6 different arrangements, okay? And again, all step by step, but instead of me talking through a live class, I'm just actually talking through a flower arrangement. So 6 different arrangements. All you have to do is make a donation to Look Good Feel Better, and you will get the reply email back from them thanking you for your donation, and in that email will be the link to download the free autumnal course. It's an amazing value, okay? Like, we're selling that course, we sell it for €300. You're getting it for your €50 donation, your €20 donation, or your €200 donation. Now try and keep the donations over €20 if possible. I do understand every penny counts, you know that way. But last year we did this and people took the piss, as we call it, and we're putting in €2 to get a free course. Now obviously the charity appreciates the €2, but you are getting an amazing deal. And anytime we ever do a fundraiser, like, it's always Look Good Feel Better in October, but we always give something for nothing, you know that way, so it is brilliant. Okay, the flower that I have here is called the Birds of Paradise, okay, aren't they amazing? So I'm going to bring 2 of these up quite high in the design, and I'm cutting them on a sharp 45-degree angle, okay, just to make sure that they'll go down into the floral foam. So I'm going to bring one about there, and then I'm going to cut the second one a little bit shorter, and I'm going to step it over a little bit, and you can see there it's a little bit lower, but I also stepped it a little bit forward, okay? So I'm just going to turn the design around here, that you can see the little bit of space in between them, and where one is lower than the other. So it just kind of gives the effect of a bird flying in the sky. Now, not a bloody seagull, okay? We hate seagulls at Case Flower School. Actually, seagulls is kind of a dirty word in Rialto, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Yeah, we're against the seagulls. Now, the pigeons we can put up with.
Oh, we don't mind the pigeons at all.
And the swallows we can put up with, right? But them bloody seagulls, again, is anybody having problems with seagulls, okay? You know the way you have the cat lovers? Well, we have the seagull lovers, you know the way. They seem to be all over. Like, everything you read in the paper really is Dublin County Council, Fingal County Council, Galway County Council, the feckin' seagulls.
Feed them at the sea, don't feed them in rural areas. That's what we say. Look, there's nothing wrong with them out at sea, and let them do the job they're supposed to do.
Which is what? Eat the guts off the fish?
Well, I suppose that there's a reason for them out there, like if they're supposed to be at the sea.
They are God's creatures.
They are.
We shouldn't be giving out about them. We just don't want them in Rialto. There's seagull shit everywhere. The cars are like landmines, you know, that sort of way. People's hall doors, people's windows. Oh, we could start a row here, you know, that way. But we'll move on. We're back to look good, feel better. So we'd really appreciate if you donated, you know, that way. And as I said, you're getting an amazing prize, you know, the way, for your donation. So the green flowers that I'm on at the moment, seeing we're talking Ireland, okay, is the shamrock chrysanthemum, okay, or the shamrock bloom. So they are part of the chrysanthemum family, but obviously they're green, so that's how they get the name green chrysanthemum. And speaking of Ireland, okay, as I said, look good, feel better is all over the world. But you will only get that special email with the special code if you use the Ireland link.
It's the Just Giving link that we set up.
It's the look good, feel better, Just Giving, you know what I mean? So it's through the Case Flower School. Now we don't get the money goes directly obviously to Look Good, Feel Better. But we have it set up that when you get your reply, that you'll get the free link. So what I'm doing here with the blooms was I started off low and then I stepped one up a little bit higher, slightly to the left. And then I have stepped another one up a little bit higher, slightly to the right. And guess what? I'm going to step another one up a little bit higher, slightly to the left, you know that way? And it's what we call a zigzag. Now as you can see there, I'm cutting off or pulling off all of the leaves. Chrysanthemum leaves don't last any length, and to be honest, they're as ugly as sin. They're as ugly as the seagulls, you know that way? And they go off and they don't look nice kind of in your flower arrangement. It can make your arrangement look kind of old looking. So take off the chrysanthemum leaves because they'll go yellow and the flower is absolutely perfect, but yet to the public it looks like that the flower is dead. So I have 4 of the chrysanthemum blooms in so far, and I'm now going to add my 5th one up just a fraction higher, just above the one that I've done already. And again, each of them flowers, I've cut them on a 45-degree angle, do you know the way that they'll slide down into the foam. Now already you can see like how this is kind of coming together.
And sorry Janette, Louise is just saying, is the autumnal course similar to the Christmas course?
Okay, the autumnal course is only 6 different arrangements, okay? But again, each arrangement I will go through exactly a stem count. Now, it'll be a little bit faster and more detailed than say our free live classes, because normally we sell this course, you know, you're getting it for free, but these free live classes I may not give as much detail because I'm always yapping about something else and I'm talking to you and giving out about the seagulls and giving out about this and that and raising money for Look Good, Feel Better. But in our Pacific professional courses, and the autumnal course will be one of them, we go kind of more into details of the flower arranging, stem counts, ingredients, etc. So yes, the Christmas online program, we go into even more detail, but we cover 40 different arrangements, like amazing, do you know that? So 40 different designs, from simple novelty ideas, Christmas door wreaths, loads of different door wreaths for your door, lots of different designs like for your grave. So if you have a loved one and you'd like to make maybe a nice Christmas holly wreath, Christmas grave design, you know that we've about 5 or 6 different Pacific grave arrangements, all for Christmas. Then we have, like, say, your garlands for your banisters, around your mirrors, around your fireplace. We have candle arrangements, we have table arrangements, we have traditional arrangements, we have modern arrangements, and it's for all levels. So no matter whether you're qualified florist, there's loads of qualified florists, you know what I mean? We've actually loads of floristry tutors from all over the world that are actually booked onto it. Or if you're a beginner, or you're an intermediate, or you're working your way through it. Anybody that's running a business, it's ideal for you. You're always looking for new ideas. You go to the wholesalers, you see all the products, and you say, but what can I do with it? So this is what our Christmas program is all about. It's giving you kind of ideas how you can use up the different products. Okay, moving on. So this flower here, we call the brain flower, because I don't know about my brain. I say it probably is like my brain, pretty small and a bit scrunched up, okay? But if you look in real close there, it's nearly like the picture that you see, what brains actually look like, okay? Celosi is the proper name for it, by the way. And it does come in different colours. So again, I'm going to add in to one side of the arrangement, I'm just going to add in a couple of the celosia. And this is going to pick up the orange of the birds of paradise, you know that way? So again, it's all about kind of complementing shades, complementing colours, and keeping to our autumnal theme. So I'm just going to step down a couple of stems of these. Right, remember, the container was pretty filled with floral foam. So I know that even though I have the straw there, the floral foam is just kind of in underneath it. So I'm just kind of like wiggling it out of the way, do you know what I mean? That I can get my stems down into it, and I'm just adding in then a couple of stems, roughly 4 stems of the celosia down into our floral foam. I just want to move this one in a fraction closer. I just think it would look a little bit nicer. So there we have, you see our orange over to that side. Now also what I have is some spray roses. Now again, kept to all the orangey sort of shades there. So where you have typical normal roses where there's one rose on the stem, these are baby roses, or spray roses. You can grow them, by the way. And again, you're getting multiple heads, you know. So there's lots of little heads here. And again, these will be beautiful for anybody that wants to do flower crowns, you know, that way, or including in a wedding bouquet. These would be absolutely beautiful. So what I'm doing is I'm starting kind of down low, in under the loops, you know, that way, where I did the fatsia, the New Zealand flax rolled over. So I started one low, stepped one up a little bit, and then I'm going to add in another little bit. Now that is something, when I'm doing one of these classes, you know, like the free Facebook pages or Instagram pages, okay? Obviously, we can't move the camera because we have a couple of cameras on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, and right across all our social media pages. But when we're doing our specific online classes, you know, the way, like say like the Christmas course, etc., we are able to stop and zoom in and show you a little bit more detail that we can't obviously do during a live class. People often ask me that and say, God, I'd love to see that closer. It's not possible during these free classes, but it's definitely possible, and we do it.